Hello everyone. We have been discussing history of English literature for the past two classes. Today we are going to discuss very important topic, the history of English literature, that is, as we know, the Renaissance period. So the Renaissance period consists of around 160 years. The period is between 1500 to 1660. We discussed in the Middle English period, during Middle English period, about the important elements of Renaissance during the 14th centuries also. Even though Renaissance began in 1453, its effects on English life and literature was felt after 1500. For this reason, it is generally accepted that the Renaissance period began with the beginning of the 16th century and continued till the Restoration in 1660. This period is called Renaissance period because the Renaissance period was the main driving force that characterized the literature of this time. This period of 160 years is subdivided into four shorter ages after the names of political rulers. We know what are the four shorter ages from this period. The first one is Elizabethan period, Elizabethan age. Second one, Jacobin age. Third one, Caroline age. And fourth one, Commonwealth period. So these four ages are part of Renaissance period. And now I would like to discuss very important and the first period of Renaissance is Elizabethan age. We know the ruler of England, Elizabethan I, it is between 1558 to 1603. Here, the age is named after Queen Elizabeth I, who reigned over England from 1558 to 1603. This is called Golden Age of English Literature. The Golden Age of English Literature is Elizabethan age. So before going to discuss about important literary works of Elizabethan period, now I would like to discuss about few important factors which influenced the writers to write literary works. The first important factor is which the accession of Queen Elizabeth I, dynastic problems and political troubles came to an end. Religious and social stability brought about national prosperity. So this is the first point we have to understand. Second important point is religious reformation inspired religious tolerance and secularism. This is the second point. The third one, very important point, is about Anglicanism. What do you mean by Anglicanism in Elizabethan period? Elizabeth I introduced Anglicanism to settle religious problems. What are the religious problems during the time of Elizabeth? So it has a long history. In the 16th century, Martin Luther of Germany, Zygmunt Calvin of Switzerland protested against the autocracy of the then Pope. Those who supported them were called Protestants. Those who still supported the Pope were called Papists or Catholics. Henry VIII, who was the King of England during those years, supported the Protestantism for his personal advantage. He wanted to divorce his first wife, Catherine, and marry Anne Boleyn, his fiancée. But the Pope did not approve it. So he denied Pope's authority, married Anne Boleyn, and introduced Protestantism in England. Some of the people accept the king's religious authority, but the rest followed the Pope's rule. This caused bloody civil war, in which continued till 1558. So the year Queen Elizabeth I came to power, she understood the problems and introduced Anglicanism, England's own church. This religious settlement brought stability and prosperity to England in the second half of the 16th century. So Anglicanism is another important factor of Elizabethan period. One more important factor from this period is geographical and astronomical discoveries of the previous decades brought unlimited fortune during this period. That's also another important factor. So another important factor is Renaissance that had started earlier was now very strongly felt in England. It brought ancient Greek and Roman wisdom to England. Erasmus reached England and with the John Colet taught humanism and other ideals of Renaissance. Another important factor is the social life of England was marked with a strong national spirit, humanism, liberal religious views, scientific curiosity, social content, intellectual progress, and unlimited enthusiasm. These are all factors influenced the writers to produce wonderful literature in during the time of Elizabethan period. So now I would like to discuss important writers, major writers and their major works of this period. The first one is, as we know, Thomas More is the first important writer of Elizabethan period. His best work, as we know, Utopia. Actually, originally it was written in Latin. Another important writer, Norton and Sackville. So their famous work is Gorboduc. As we know, this is the first English tragedy of this period. Another important writer, as we know, Edmund Spenser, he is called poet of the poets because many later English poets followed his art of poetry. Another important one, Nicholas Budal. The popular work of Nicholas Budal is Rolf Royster and Royster. As we know, Rolf Royster and Royster is known as first English comedy. Another important writer of this period is Sir Philip Sidney. We know Philip Sidney's popular work is An Apology for Poetry. It's also known as critical treatise. Another from this period, particularly in English, Elizabethan age is also known for university wits. We know what you mean by university wits. University wits are a group of young dramatists who wrote and performed in London towards the end of the 16th century. They are students of Oxford and Cambridge. They called university wits because they were the witty students of Cambridge or Oxford. Among them, Marlowe, Kidd, Nash, Green, Lilly, Lodge, and Beattie are known as university group of poets. The members of this group, they upheld the classical ideas and radicalized the goodness of the New English plays. We know Thomas Kidd, another important wit, Robert Greene, George Peele, they're all known as universities. From this period, we have another important essayist, Francis Bacon. It's called Natural Philosopher. His essays are popular in Elizabethan period. Another important university is Christopher Marlowe. So beyond all these universities, we have the popular writer of English literature is known as Shakespeare. Shakespeare is also belongs to this particular age. The greatest English dramatist, as we know, Shakespeare, famous for the objective presentation of his deep knowledge about human psychology. He often called bad when he wrote 37 plays and around 154 sonnets. The total 37 plays he wrote around 25 plays, particularly during the time of Elizabethan period. So we have Ben Jonson also from this period. It's also known as neoclassicist, though he wrote the time when romantic mode of literature was prevalent. These are all important writers of this period, and I'd like to discuss another important issue from this period is what are the main literary features of this age. Among these are all works, I'd like to point out a few important points. The first one is Elizabethan literature reflects the great variety of creative genius. That is the first feature we have to identify and understand from these books. Another point, it demonstrates experimentation and innovation in dramatic and poetic forms and techniques. Another point is it is deeply influenced the Renaissance period, especially Renaissance literature of Italy, France, and Spain. The style exhibits a romantic exuberance. It's written all men from all classes of the society. So it is an age of exhaustive poetry, unparalleled drama, and splendid prose. It marks sticks from man's fate to his free will. It develops English language to a level of stable standards. Its spirit from Platonic idealism to delightful romance of the level of realism. Finally, it initiates literary criticism also. So these are all important factor in literary features we can identify from the period of Elizabethan age.